Hey, Midnight Sun here. I wanted to point out to all of you guys that in the following videos that I'm going to be doing for the 1 to 70 guide, there is going to be no more altar in the game for you guys to practice if you wanted to practice and follow along with those videos. The reason I did the video with the altar in the previous season active was to try and get as close to what it would be like during the season as possible. However, that's obviously not going to be a complete one-to-one guide. And in terms of you guys practicing right now, you're going to miss out on a lot of the benefits of the altar and the visions. Now, there is some ways that you can utilize that and do that even here right now, which is using a gem of ease if you have one, but you have to get it to rank 120 or rank 25, and that would only work for one item. So this is a level 70 item. If I put a gem of ease in here in the socket slot, it would make it required level 1, so I could equip it on each class if I wanted to. But that's not going to be very good for doing a whole 70 gear item. So again, I'm really sorry about, the videos that I made being kind of a little bit earlier, and it took me a long time to get through the editing with work and schedule and stuff to get them put out. So they are just kind of give you an idea of what it would look like in this season. And with this season being the Soul Shard season, there is a bit of a caveat in those videos. These 1 to 70 guides that I've been showing you guys, I've been utilizing the 1 to 18 method by going through Runes of Sescheron there and getting the cube first and then getting 18 in order to get a gem from each of these bosses over here. And with the next season having a chance to drop a Soul Shard gem from the bosses, it would make the most sense to straight up run Zoltan Cool. So just go straight to Zoltan Cool and kill him over and over again in the hopes that he drops a Soul Shard. However, I am not sure what level the Soul Shards drop at. I heard they can be dropping at level 1. I don't know if there's an increased likelihood of that happening later on, and I don't know how feasible that's going to be. So I don't know if I run into Zoltan Cool and you get lucky and you get the Soul Shard right away. You can scrap that to get a Marquise, I believe, or an Imperial gem, which would satisfy the altar requirements of having a gem above a Flawless Diamond. So you could theoretically go straight there and do that and get the gem, and you would have the Blacksmith leveled up if you're using the cash for the start of the season there, which would allow you to craft level 70 gear straight at level 1. Now, in the 1 to 70 guides that I'm going to be showing you guys here, I do start out at level 1 for each of those things, so it doesn't really matter too much, but could be an option for you guys there if you want to start the season. Again, I'm not sure how reliable that method's going to be. I think most of the classes did it pretty fast, getting to 18 and then going through and getting the gems from the Rift Guardians or the Rift bosses or whatever you call these bounty bosses over there. And then the other reason is that in the 1 to 18 guide, I talked about the items you get from Kadala. And one of the subscribers pointed out that something that I can do is just gamble on a non-seasonal class, and it would tell me what item requirement it is there. And I did not think of that at the time. That makes sense. And I recommended saying level 12 for most of the items. It's actually level 16, so it'll be a little bit further along in order to equip those items actually on your character. So keep that in mind if you're trying to follow the guides. But thank you guys for watching, and I hope you enjoy the following videos. Hey, Midnight Sun here, and we're going to be doing the Barbarian. This is going to be the 1 to 70 or the 18 to 70 if you're following from the previous guide. As an added kind of tidbit for that kind of stuff as well, if a class is feeling too hard at a higher level, you can always drop it down to normal for the first 8 or 9 levels or so. It's just going to mean that when you get to the cube, you're going to be a little bit under leveled, and then you'd have to go and level that up to 18. So if it's feeling a little too challenging for you, you guys can always drop the difficulty levels a little bit lower. One of the subscribers recommended the hard difficulty as kind of the best ratio when it comes to XP. So continuing on with this Barb level 1 to 70 here, I've already got all of my gear on, and you notice that I have a couple rings here. This is because when I went to go to Kadala to spend blood shards, we only get 475 of these. I started out going with the bracers down here, and we got the bracers of destruction. We spent 100 blood shards doing that, and then since I had so much left over, I gambled for rings. So the first 2 rings went right here, and then we ended up getting a Band of Might. This makes it so after casting Fierce Charge, Ground Stomp, or Leap, you take 62% reduced damage for 8 seconds. So a huge damage reduction. Now, I don't anticipate in the actual season getting a Band of Might. More than likely, I'm just going to go through and get the Bracers of Destruction. So I'm going to go ahead and put that Bandamite ring over here in my stash. And secondly, when it comes to some of the gear that I have on me here, I just crafted the full set of gear here. But typically you would want to gamble first and then craft in case you get the item that you're going to wear. So here I have level 70 bracers, but I would probably be putting on this seismic slam here or extracting it in the cube. Now, we only get a limited number of veiled crystals. So one little trick here is as you're going through Kadala, save a couple of these yellow items here, and then you can go over to Zoltan Cool and go to the convert recipe and spend one of your blood shards, or not, sorry, not blood shard, one of your death breath on converting reusable parts here. So one death breath, we see that we have more reusable parts from the Challenger of Cash. You get, I think, 375-ish or so. Let me look up the exact number here for that. So you end up getting 370 reusable parts, 354 arcane dust, and 126 veiled crystals. So the veiled crystals are going to be the limiter when it comes to crafting items or doing anything of that nature. And if you convert 100 of those reusable parts with one of these items right here, you can fill it up, hit transmute, and then you gain 100 veiled crystals back. So this will allow you to craft a total of 11.7 items of level 70 gear on you if you aren't including upgrading your, or if you are including upgrading your weapon here. So with that being said, you should have enough veiled crystals to fully deck out your character and get a level 70 weapon to upgrade in the cube, because that costs 50 of each material as well. So for the Barbarian here, there's a couple options that you can choose when it comes to upgrading weapons. Now for me here, I'm going to go ahead and do the two-handed mighty weapons. And that's because the two-handed mighty weapons have a chance of rolling into some stuff for the later season class here, which is the Immortal King's Garb, I believe. So for season 36, that set is going to utilize a Gavel of Judgment. So I can get that here in the beginning. So if I get the Gavel of Judgment, that's going to be really good. I have about a 60% chance or 66% chance of getting something good here. Or I could choose to do the Spears. That's going to give me 2 out of 3 good results, which is also a 66% chance. So we're going to go ahead and upgrade here. Hit upgrade and throw in our hammer. All right, and in this case, we got Fury of the Vanished Peak. This reduces the Fury cost of Seismic Slam by 50% and increases all its damage by 483%. This is phenomenal because it pairs really well with the Bracers of Destruction here, which is Seismic Slam deals 437% increased damage to the first 10 enemies it hits. So depending on what you gamble for in the beginning, you may want to choose a different option here. So I'm going to go ahead and throw that on, and as long as I unlock Seismic Slam, this Barbarian's going to level incredibly fast. Now for the rest of these items here, I would kind of quickly take a peek and see if there's a better option for the ring here, and put that on. So I'm just going to throw on the yellows just for now. Scrap whatever I have left here. And then we get to go to Temple of the Firstborn in Act 2 here. And I am on Torment 6 difficulty. And here we're going to go ahead, once we're actually here, because I don't know how long the explanations are going to take for each class, start a timer to see how long it takes us to level from level 1 here to level 70. So here we go.
That creature must die.
I have heard troubling news. Another cult has emerged from the
So
shadows.
whenever we're doing the first couple levels on Torment 6 difficulty, they're going to be incredibly fast. Do your best to maintain your kill streak on the Barb. I expect we're going to lose it here just because, yeah, we don't have any range. So if we had some range skills unlocked, which we are going to get here in a second, we would be able to go a little bit further. And I'm just going to basically go until I lose my kill streak again. And then we'll start putting in some new skills here. So I'm pretty sure we've unlocked Seismic Slam already, which will make the next part a little bit easier. But again, we're still doing so much damage that we could just stick around with the basic skills here and do plenty of damage. This is the only time I'd recommend going through these, by the way. because you're going to need some materials, and this is going to have a huge chance of giving you materials. You also have a chance of getting the goblin level, and the goblin level is going to provide you some early plans, as well as, of course, leveling items and leveling materials and everything that you could possibly need. So we're just going to continue through here as far as we can get, making sure we're maintaining our score streak to the best of our ability. I almost lost it there. Alright, and we're level 28. Now, typically going through Temple of the Firstborn on Torment 6, as long as I'm maintaining my Massacre bonus here, I tend to get to about level 35, or pretty close to that. So here we're getting some Death Breath. And I still have a lot of the altar requirements unlocked, because every single class that I've done so far has had the altar filled out now. So there's no way for me to do it without creating a separate account and buying the game again. As far as I'm aware, if you guys know of a way to play a fresh character, a fresh account without having to pay for the game that's legal, go ahead and let me know. Okay. There we go. So we got a bunch of Death Breath in here. We would get about half of this amount typically, because we are missing some of those altar things in the actual season. And we get about 10 of each bounty material there, which is going to be great. And of course, we'd pick all of this stuff up and scrap it in the regular season. We're just going to go ahead and leave game here and come back into a fresh start and go ahead and see if we can get to at least level 55 is what we're looking for the next push. So typically it takes about 3 or 4 resets depending on, again, how well you're doing with the massacres. So we're going to keep this on Torment 6. And now that we've hit our current level of 40, we can go ahead and switch out some skills. So I typically do Weapon Throw, Ricochet for the first thing here. And then the second one, I would do Rend, Ravage if I was not getting some good items. But we've got the item for, let's see, where is it here? Seismic Slam. So we're going to go ahead and put Seismic Slam in. And we're going to go ahead and just do Shattered Ground because it doesn't really matter all that much. One of the subscribers told me you can just drag skills around and move them like that, which is really handy, so I appreciate that. We're going to go ahead and do this one, Intimidate, for Threatening Shout, and just leave that there. And then our third one, we're going to do Furious Charge, and we're going to recharge time is reduced to 2 seconds with Merciless Assault here. Finally, we're going to go ahead and throw in a couple of passives. Now, these don't matter all that much with this leveling process here, but I'm going to go ahead and take a couple of those in here. If I was on hardcore, I would take this Nerves of Steel here, but I'm not. So I'm going to go ahead and increase the damage of Weapon Throw and Seismic Slam right there. So that's going to combine really well with these two options here. Fourth one, you could just leave Earthquake in if you really wanted to. It doesn't really matter here. Or you could put on another, let's see, thing like Wrath of the Berserker for some boosts in damage. Or you could put on another shout, such as Battle Rage or War Cry. So I guess we could switch it over to Battle Rage right now and increase our movement speed a bit to move through it a little bit faster. So after doing that, we're going to again go ahead and go to Temple of the Firstborn and run through this. And now we've got some distance with our weapon here. And we should have some pretty good Fury generation as well with the Ricochet and our shouts. So I still haven't gotten the chance to use the Seismic Slam yet, because we haven't ran into any difficult enemies, but there it is right there. Should automatically take out everything around us. So as long as we're maintaining our Fury, that's good. We could just kind of turn around and hit a huge clump of enemies, and it should murder everybody. Hope I'm allowed to say that on YouTube. Should kill everybody. I don't know if that's any better. So now we should have an easier time maintaining our Massacre bonus. And typically, when going through here, you want to leave an enemy trailing like that, just in case you don't run into another one here. So that's a little bit of a tip on maintaining the Massacre bonus here. But to be honest, it's wildly inconsistent. There was a pylon back there that we could have gone to, and we probably should have, considering it may have been a goblin pylon or a goblin shrine one. Alright, I'm going slight wrong turn here. That's why I'm going to try and drag these guys towards me. Let's see, do I still have another one back here? Uh-oh. That's not good. Thought those guys were much closer. And keep an eye out to certain breakhold points. So for the Massacre down here, if you reach Massacre 100, that's going to give you a larger boost, Massacre 200, and then Massacre 300 and Massacre 400. So once you hit those, it's going to be a major boost in damage. See that Greater Rift Guardian just disappeared there with the Seismic Slam? So as long as we have a Seismic Slam, we're going to be good here. We got to find... Oh, we're going to lose it. There's one regular guy in here somewhere. Oh, there you are. And that's got the portal. So we're level 51. That was pretty close to where we wanted to be. We wanted to be about level 52. And since I've got the Seismic Slam, I'm feeling comfortable going in here even at Torment 6. This should be a really high chance of getting some legendary items and stuff too, and some actually useful items at level 52. Once I start to slowly lose my damage in here, that's when it's going to be no longer useful to come in here. So here, I'm still steadily killing all of the enemies in about 1 or 2 swings with my Seismic Slam. If you didn't have as good of a leveling item, or you noticed after going through the first area here that it was taking more than like 2 seconds to kill the enemies, then I would say don't go through the visions anymore. So this is pretty close to the cutoff point of that. And there's a helm. We'll check that out. Okay, I'm pretty sure it's the Leorix or the Broken Crown. Sometimes I get a little bit mixed up on those. Okay, that's the Broken Crown. That's a pretty useful leveling item. We would throw that in our stash. And notice how I didn't extract an item this time as well. And that was just in case I got something really good leveling up. So I'm fine with keeping these on me, but if I wanted to, I could extract the Seismic Slam, or I could extract this weapon here. Now this is an ancient item, which I honestly didn't notice until now. So probably not the best idea to scrap the ancient item. And instead would be more wise to scrap the bracer there. So we're going to go ahead and leave game again and come back in. We're level 56, so we're right on task, or right on schedule there. We've been doing this for 8 minutes and 50 seconds so far. We're going pretty fast here with our items that we have on us. And I could, again, extract that Broken Crown or those homing pads that I got. See what it looks like. Now notice right here how my main attack is no longer doing any damage on Torment 6. My Seismic Slam is still doing great, so as long as I can maintain Fury, this is going to be no problem coming through here and killing everything. But it also means that it's going to get more and more challenging as I level up. So you can see that my health is dropping here, so if I spend more than 2 seconds not killing an enemy, I'm more than likely going to die. So on a hardcore character, I would probably stop right here and immediately switch it down to a lower difficulty. Now we're not hardcore, so it doesn't matter if we die here, and I'm trying to do this to showcase just how much you can tank or survive. So if you are running a hardcore follow through, you can keep that in mind, see what I'm surviving, and if you have similar items, then you know that you'll be able to survive it as well. Let's just go ahead and take a peek at our toughness and survivability. All right, 225,000 damage and 914,000 toughness. We're at 6 and we're level 58. Now here, I'm gonna try and do my best to carry through to another person. Come on, there we go. To reach that next threshold of 200 kills. So there's the 200 kill mark, and I'm gonna go ahead and stop there. Now at this point, I'm going to drop the difficulty, and my goal is to try and get to Torment 4. If I can do Torment 4 and survive, then I can do the rest of the season journey. Now, I don't anticipate being able to do that on the Barb, so I'm going to actually go ahead and drop down to Torment 2, to make the rest of this a little bit faster, and then also to give me the chance to enter a vision and get a good item, because the visions progressively get more and more challenging as you go through the portals in the visions. I haven't found any concrete evidence as to like how much it is or how much the boost is, but typically I've seen that it can go up to 2 or 3 difficulties higher based on people killing the enemies in there and comparing it to a difficulty increase. So at Torment 2, it should be about the same as Torment 4 if I go through a long vision or portal. Now again, that's just a rough estimate. I'm not sure if that's actually the case. So I'm going to keep that in mind. All right. 11 minutes and 44 seconds. And I anticipate we'll have to maybe reset this one more time after doing this. So we're going to do our best to keep this course, this massacre bonus going until we get to 400. And I hope this shows you kind of the skills that you would want to use. Again, if we spec'd into Hammer of the Ancients with their first weapon, then we would switch Seismic Slam to Hammer of the Ancients. If we were doing fine with our damage and stuff over here, then maybe we would switch our what's it called here, our Ground Stomp to something else. Ground Stomp I'm currently using as a way to, let's see, gotta focus for a second. Okay. As a way to stun enemies, so if I run into a pack of elites, I can stun them. I didn't put a rune on Ground Stomp, I believe, which I should have, but that's going to be the gist of the Barbarian here. And so far, I have a post going showing or asking you guys what class I should level up in hardcore. And I've got responses for the Barbarian and the Witch Doctor on there. So if that's what you guys want me to do, then I will go ahead and do a hardcore character on the Barbarian. And I believe the plan is going to be to start as the Necromancer and try and do it without the Challenge Rift cache and get a Torment 1 set of bounties done to give me some experience to level up the Barbarian there. So then we'll do the Barbarian 1 to 70. And if that's not going to be the case, and we're just going to start with the Challenge Rift cache, then we'll level up. We'll just level up straight on the Barbarian there and continue with the Challenge Rift cache. So that's the plan so far. Let me know if you guys have any other suggestions or any alternatives for that. All right. 460. Let's see where that gets us. 66. So just like I thought, we're going to have to go through here one more time. And we started there at 60, I believe. So if I'm doing my math right, as long as we get another 400 massacre bonus, we should hit 70, no problem coming through there. And we should also be fine with the current difficulty we're on. This is why I dropped it as low as Torment 2. Now, this also lets me know that at Torment 2 difficulty, I should be able to do a good 90% of the season journey. And I could even start going through and getting some Rift Guardians. Now, there is a bit of an annoyance with the previous season still being active. However, there is going to be a strategy next season of going straight to the Rift Guardians like Zoltan Kuhl or Magda or the Skeleton King and try and farm some soul shards early. And if you get those soul shards, you can scrap them and get Marquise or Imperial gems. So there's a chance to get the diamonds really early doing that, or alternatively, you could sell the Imperial gems for, I think, about 30,000 gold. I'm not sure the precise number on that. And that would be able to help you level up your blacksmith very early as well. So I'm not sure what that's going to look like unless I test it in the season, because I didn't test this the last time we did the Soul Shard season. So this time around, I will post an update if that seems to be a viable option, or if it's just going to be too time consuming for them to actually spawn. I'm not sure what the spawn rate is going to look like for that. This was the wrong way. I gotta see if I can drag them this way a bit. There we go. Alright, I don't know if we'll we'll have enough enemies here to get the 400 that we're looking for. I don't want that season mechanic to activate. It throws off how I'm doing for all of this stuff there. It's like, that's a pretty good enmity that we would maybe want to go through, but again, right now, I just don't. Come on. I'm going to lose it. Bummer. All right. I was really hoping to continue that forward. We're at 68. And I think I'm going to need like a 300 now to be able to get the rest of these up to where I want to be. I should be running out of enemies here in a minute. My seismic slam is still taking out the elites in roughly one hit too, so. Now if I do this right and slowly wait here and just kind of tap fire at these guys, I can continue through to the next area. And as long as we get those bugs spawning in time, we should carry it forward just like that. And the area over here depends and varies very differently when it comes to how many bugs are in here. You can get a place like this, and this has the most amount of bugs that I've seen spawn. So we got lucky this time. I doubt there's going to be enough to carry it over to 400. So we'll have to stop right here. All right, let's see if that was enough. All right, 69.5, so I thought so. So messing up that first time and dropping that was going to be a bit of a mistake there. And actually, we can also just do this by going to the Halls of Agony, Act 3, if you don't want to do Temple of the Firstborn, or if you want a bit of a change in pace. The Halls of Agony will have a large amount of enemies here that are still relatively easy to kill, and they don't spawn in like the bugs, which means what you see is what you get. So you can get a decent amount of enemies here pretty quickly, but I don't like it as much as the as much as the Temple of the Firstborn, simply because the enemies are all spawned in, and that means that they're going to overwhelm you really easy if you don't have a decent amount of damage here. Alright. And again, alternatively, if you were to try and farm for the soul shards, every single time you go to Act 2, you would check to see if the Zoltan Pool bounty is still there. And I don't think you actually need the bounties. It has a chance of spawning regardless of it. So at the very end of running through Temple of the Firstborn, you could go and try and kill Vidian and see if he drops you any of the stuff that you need as well. So we would continue along and try and kill the Butcher, typically if we were in an average season. I should be fine there. There we go. Right on the dot, 70. All right. So we did that in 19 minutes and 42 seconds. So if you're comparing to the other classes, you can see what that's like. Now, caveat, some of these classes will probably do a lot better or a lot worse, depending on, again, the items. We got an ancient item here this time, and these two synced very well together. So we're doing an incredible amount of damage to the point where, again, I could probably do Torment 6 and then just target elites, and I could still just do it fine with the Seismic Slam or tweaking them around a little bit. But I hope you guys enjoy these videos. Let me know if this helps you guys for the new season coming out. Season 36 is going to be starting this next Friday. So we're in the final week of preparation here. Have a good one.